Kenton, Gift of Loneliness is such a bop. I am so fascinated by this and I think it's so catchy. Where did this concept come from?
Mm, s- we were looking for my co-writers and I were kind of looking for something that was fun and dancey and that kind of like bridged what we were looking for in the album, uh, in my upcoming album. And so I started talking about these stories of my childhood, and one of them that really stuck with me was, I am a pastor's kid. I grew up quite sheltered and growing up in the church. And there was a sermon I distinctly remember that my preacher was talking about, I think it was like First Corinthians, about how God gives us different gifts, the different fruits of the Spirit. And you have the gift of preaching, that he was doing. You have gifts of service, you have the gift of worship, and leading, and gifts of leadership. And then there was just this one, and he kind of talked about it, he talked around it, how people have like gifts of solitude, and you're not bogged down the by the expectations of society, and that you aren't bogged down by um the need to start a family. And I was pretty young then, so I wasn't out, but I could definitely feel what he was talking about. And this girl, after the sermon, came up to me, my friend, and was like, "You know what you have, Kenton?" And I was like, "What is that?" And she goes, "You have the gift of loneliness." And I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
okay. What does that, And I don't think either of us really fully comprehended exactly what she was saying, because she was like, I just don't see you with like, like a wife and kids. And at that time, like, I didn't really understand what that was either, but I felt it. I definitely felt like, well, yeah, okay. This, you're on to something, because I do feel that. I feel like this ideal life that has been plotted out for all of us, as to this is what you want in life, just isn't in the cards for me. It isn't attainable. And so that's kind of what prompted this idea of the gift of loneliness. And I relate that to my queerness. And that as I've gotten older, I've realized that, it's a superpower. It's the sense where, I can see what is expected. And not to say that I never feel any of that pressure, but like the pressures of what you need to have in order to be successful, in order to be happy. I just don't really feel that. I'm kind of like, let's dig a little deeper and try to find happiness in other ways.
What was your songwriting process then for Gift of Loneliness?
Mm. Um, I believe Rob from Same Same, kind of just started with like this beat, and then he did that, and we kind of just played it. And I had a bunch of phrases. I do this usually when I start writing a song. You listen to a little beat or something, or a chord progression, and you do a lot of mumbling, and you kind of see how that is. And then I just started writing phrases down, and one of the phrases that kept coming up, that we kept referring back to, was the story that I had said is a gift of loneliness, gift of loneliness. So we started with the chorus, and we had this idea like ba 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 da ba 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 da, you know and then we kind of built it around that, and we did it in a couple hours.
The production on it by Eric Kanata is so good as well. Talk about working with him to flesh out the final sound as well.
Mm. Well, Eric is the executive producer of my album. So we've worked with other producers and co-writers, but he kind of had overseen all of it. And so he has like a bird's eye view of all the different sounds that we have. And working with him has been really fun, because he is basically family to me. I consider him a brother. And I've basically known him since he was like 3. We grew up in the same town, and his sister is my best friend from childhood. And it's been it's been such a fun experience because I come from jazz. My background is in jazz. I sing for different pop artists and whatnot, but like my schooling and my education has always been with that. And he comes from a very indie background. He's just learned on the road. And so oftentimes when we would write and get together, um, he comes from a very like I have to feel it. I have to hear it. And I'm like, well, what if we do it from the 4 to the 3, and put the tension on the 9? And he goes, dude, I have no idea what those numbers mean. Like, what are you're just saying numbers. And I'm like, right, right. Things need to be felt and not just in the heady space that I will naturally get to if given no limitations. It's been a really great experience with that, and so he's been able to kind of pull things back and say like maybe let's not go too far off the beaten path with this, and try to get melodies and earworms that like actually people can relate to and sing back, um, and not try to do throw everything at the listener at once.
The video is just remarkable. Where did the choreo come from? And whose bedroom is that?
Oh, so we filmed all the music video visualizers for the album over 3 days. My dear friend Matthew Law, is an actor. He's a director, and we had this concept of just like filming all these different ideas in the same house that we found in the Valley. It's called Vintage House in the Valley. I love that place. Um, and it's an actual like tiny, tiny vintage bedroom. And our other friend, Daisha Graff, choreographed it, and we spent uh an afternoon over at a dance studio, and she kind of just like had her phone above and was like, try this, maybe we do this, with my friends, Grant Chang and Andrew Guh, and we kind of just was like, what are different ways in which we can like throw our bodies against each other. And the real funny thing is that I had measured the bed when we first got there with my phone, um, a few days before, and I was like planning for it. I was like, oh, it's a full-size bed. We get to the day, and I'm realizing that the measurements were off, and the bed was so much smaller than we had planned for. And so a lot of the stuff was like, oh, okay, we're just right here. You can't actually move out from the bed. And so it was a pretty hilarious experience. There's a few takes. I don't know if I have the footage anymore, but there were like the earlier ones. I was getting knocked in the head and being like, "Oh, okay, keep going. We got it. We got it."
I think it's just incredible. The choreo is just exceptional. And it's just so emotional. What kind of reaction have you been receiving to it from fans?
Oh, thank you, by the way. It's been really fun. I think one of the biggest things that I've always tried to do is make these very deep, complex, difficult emotions and experiences accessible, and light, in the sense that like we can talk about it. Yeah, like it sucks to be lonely, but we don't have to be mopey about it all the time, right? And what I've really gotten feedback on from multiple sources is just like how fun it is. And then when you dig into the lyrics, you're like, oh, okay, there's definitely more to this and more of what we're talking about here. And what I personally love about it is that, it's very queer, it's very Asian, and I find that oftentimes in a lot of our imagery, I mean, like, not to, you know, not to blow my friends up and stuff, but like, Andrew and Grant are very hot. They're very attractive men. I'm very lucky. I basically roped them in to getting in bed with me, for for you know for my
Seasonal
artistic
purposes.
project. Um, and we're just rolling around in bed with each other. But I find that like we don't get to see that very often. There's not a lot of imagery out there that does all of that. And so the feedback that I've gotten a lot is like, well, like wow, these guys are hot, like whoa, it's so steamy. And I'm very proud of that because we don't get to see that a lot, and to see that that's the reflection that people are getting, that like, yeah, it is. It is hot. Thanks for saying it.
Is this your favorite song off your upcoming album, Sweetmouth?
Ooh, that's like asking if it's my favorite child. I
Yes, I
think
know.
all the songs are very different. It is definitely one of my favorite. Um, I don't know. I think it's definitely probably one of the most fun. It's really fun to sing. It's really fun to dance to. There are other ones that are coming up that are a bit dancey that I really enjoy. I just did an acoustic show a couple weeks back where I sang all the songs from the album with just a guitar and a piano. Um, and I have to say, even acoustically, it still slaps. I had a lot of fun with it. Um, but I think I have some gems coming up that I think once the full album's out, I'm really excited to see what resonates with people.
Okay, you have some live performances then coming up before the album release, or you just have a big album release party coming here in October?
I'm gonna have a party. I'm not exactly sure if it's gonna be public or it might be an invite type of thing. My birthday's October 11th, so it's the week before. So I might combine it. I might do it at a venue. I'm not exactly sure, but I have some other performances coming up that are with different performing arts centers and stuff over the fall. Um, and so I want to do like a big, big full band thing in February. Because as much as I want to celebrate, and I am really excited to celebrate the album release, I really just want to do a show once everyone's had a chance to like take the album in and, hopefully if people know some of the songs enough, they can at least sing along a little bit to it. Um, that's my goal, to do a show in February. So I'll be announcing that as soon as I get the details hashed out.
All right. Well, is there some collaborations on this album you can tease, or is this just fully Kenton?
So far, it's just fully Kenton. I am working on some collaborations. Can't announce it, but I am crossing my fingers everything goes through and I can, because I am hoping to add some collaborations out there once the album is out, that will hopefully be surprising and delightful.
I mean, you've collaborated with some incredible performers before, and you've even supported some incredible, outstanding pop artists before. Is there a dream collab you'd have in mind?
Ooh. Um, Leve would be fun. I love Griff or Joy Crooks. Those would certainly be really fun. If we're going big out, I mean, I think Chapel would be such a great fun one. Um, if I could ever do something with Brandy Carlisle,
Okay.
that would, I know that's like a big swing on the other side, but um I mean, she is incredible and such a strong storyteller. I think for me, there's two sides of me, right? There's the entertainer that I really love and that I've worked for, lots of entertainers. But I think where my heart is at and the people who I really look up to are people who are just like smack dab in the storytelling world.
We've loved seeing you on TV in Superstore, Night Court, The Rookie, certainly Perfect Harmony. Are there some other on-screen projects you have coming up as well?
Ooh, do I? Have they all been released?
Which
I'm not sure. There are some things that are off screen that I've been working on, that I have worked on, that are coming up. I've done some work recently for some video games. I should probably share that eventually. Um, that's been really fun. And then, yeah, I did some work for a movie. You won't see me, but you will hear me. That should be coming out in the winter. Um, and then maybe a commercial here and there. You might see me popping up. I do have the tiniest little cameo in a commercial that's running right now. And I don't think like very few people have been like, oh my goodness, that's you. It's for like a Ring camera, and so I'm just like a delivery person that like comes up and like delivers a burrito. But you have to basically like really watch for me because I'm like literally coming through a camera. So
Okay. What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the music that you make? It's so powerful, evocative, and heartfelt.
thank you. I would say, you know, I took a really long break from releasing music because I really felt like I needed to find myself and to figure out what I wanted to say. So this album, which I hope you will all listen to, is my way of opening up a dialogue. And I hope that you can listen to it, with an open heart and an open mind, in that I want you to know that a lot of the stuff that I talk about, it's very painful, and it's challenging to talk about, and it requires a lot of introspection to see, the ways in which we are hard on ourselves, the ways in which we get in our own ways. And I want people to not be afraid to talk about it. Like, sure, talk about it on my page, talk about it in the comments. I would love to know all of that. And I want us to be talking about it because the only way that we're going to heal ourselves and to move forward is if we continue to have these conversations and to remove the shame that we have of being imperfect.
I think more people need to hear that message. And, there is no such thing as perfect, but our families have sort of like built us to believe that we have to be that no matter what, and to break down that wall and that stereotype. And it's more common these days, I think, than ever, thankfully.
Yeah.
But we still have so many people who need to hear it. I think even more and more with our political climate, you need to hear, there is no perfect. Be you, be love, feel what you feel. Your thoughts and feelings are valid. And if you need help, here's my shoulder.
Yeah. I think perfect gets in the way of progress. We're stuck where we are because we cut people out constantly for being imperfect.
We all have our faults, let us, it's okay to be fallible. And even the people that are put on the pedestal that we see, have faults as well. So open your
Mhm.
heart and open your mind to that being allowed as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You get it.